morning. Welcome to yet another episode of Health Discourse with Sakshi and Sushant. So, hi Sushant, good morning.
Good morning.
So, today we will be discussing about early onset and progression of diseases among young people, right? So, these days, as you can see, that a lot of people from the age band of 20s to 30s, which is quite, a young age, and because India has a lot of population with mostly young people living in the country. So, what we are seeing that these people are getting more prone to diseases. Even there was a research that there's going colon cancer is going to be more prevalent in the coming times, right? And so I my first question to you is, does pharmaceutical drugs have some role to play in this?
Yeah, do. So probably before that, I would like to give a brief about how our cell functions, right? And one of the important aspect is the healthy fats coming from our diet, right? So if you see, 80% of brain is made up of fat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Our cells, you see, every cell has cell membrane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And cell membrane as these cholesterol, fatty acids, lipoproteins, right? All these healthy sticks, which maintains the fluidity and the structure of the cell membrane,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there is, this is required, and this fluidity and structure ensures the intracellular signaling, right? So you need healthy fats. So essentially, what happens is if there is this structure and fluidity is well there, probably there's good amount of cholesterol and good amount of fats and lipoproteins, right? So essentially, there is an intracellular signaling which happens, right? So there, if the cells can sense the outside environment, what is happening, and then act accordingly. For instance, they would activate GLUT4 to actually bind to glucose and clear it from circulation. They would activate nitric oxide production to vasodilate your blood vessels, ensure blood flow, regulate your blood pressure, right? Or mitochondrial genesis, probably recreating, reproducing more of mitochondria to make sure that it's again another hallmark of longevity, right? So essentially, you need these fats, right? So if your first thing, what I'm saying is, what I'm actually witnessing is there's a lot of these seeds oil and vegetable oils and corn seeds oil, grape seeds oil, right? All these things when they come, they actually uh, you don't take healthy fats, you take these fats, so it changes your structure and fluidity of these cells.
So when you're saying seed oil, this is like vegetable oil, like what is available in the market, like soya bean
Dalda,
oil or
dalda.
rice
So,
bran oil and all
yeah,
these things.
yeah. So all these cotton seed, rape seed oils, vegetable oil, right? So
It's like
these,
normal vegetable oil which is used for cooking, right?
yeah. And again, it's not made of vegetable. It's a name vegetable, not made of vegetable. It's all bad fat, right? So when you do that, it changes your structure and fluidity of the cells, and there is no cellular signaling. It impacts cellular signaling. There is no cellular signaling, and cell starts defunction, and then you become sick, right? So again, when your cell doesn't function, there is a program for cell that's what you call the process, right? So that is, again, so one aspect is when you are not eating healthy fats, you're not taking omega-3, you're not taking avocados, you're not taking monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats, so you're taking a lot of these bad fats, right? So these do impact your cell functioning, right? So seed oil is a completely disaster. Second thing is coming to pharmaceutical, like we have seen that uh, healthcare community has been blaming cholesterol for your cardiovascular disease. Cholesterol doesn't cause cardiovascular disease, right? It is actually an deficiency of nitric oxide production which causes cardiovascular disease. Again, when you have a high cholesterol level, right? So probably you are prescribed statins. Now now your statins, what it does, it suppresses your cholesterol production. It also suppresses a uh, enzyme called CoQ10. Again, CoQ10 is required for production of ATP, and then you have fatigue and a lot of these issues. You don't have ATP production, you don't have energy, right? So that is one aspect. Again, statin reduces, when it reduces cholesterol, it again impacts your structure and fluidity of the cells because then there's less of cholesterol, right? Okay. So when it impacts your cell fluidity, it actually disrupts your nitric oxide production. So it impairs your insulin signaling because we have I have discussed this, and probably let me give in a very short thing. When you have a nitric oxide production, there is a specific enzyme, which is coupled with endothelium cell. Again, we have endothelium cells along every lining every blood vessel, right? So this enzyme, when it is coupled, it produces nitric oxide, right, which is a signal for your enzyme to release GLUT4. Again, it is a protein. So you have to understand enzymes consist of proteins, right? That does the biochemical function inside the body, right? So essentially, it actually releases GLUT4. GLUT4 goes to cell membrane, binds glucose, clear of the circulation, right? So if you do not have nitric oxide production, right, because it is a signal for GLUT4 to be activated. Let's stick to the surface of the enzyme, right? So essentially, if you don't have that, it actually leads to impaired signaling and it leads to diabetes. So statins could lead to type 2 diabetes, could lead to obesity, right? Right. Even so probably these statins has no benefit. It has nothing to do. Your cholesterol is not responsible for cardiovascular disease. I think we had done a video on this earlier. Probably I will share link this video.
Yeah, I agree that we have talked about cholesterol a lot in our
Yeah.
previous videos.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So if you're taking seed oil instead of good fats, it is going to impact your cellular functions. If you are
Mm.
taking, it is going to cause type 2 diabetes because it is going to disrupt your nitric oxide production because of changing structure of the and fluidity of the cells, right? It is actually going to lead to type 2 diabetes, right? Erectile dysfunction, right? And again, erectile dysfunction is the early symptom of nitric oxide deficiency, right? So so
Yes, you've
so
mentioned this earlier that we've
yeah,
done
yeah.
this entire talk on erectile dysfunction. We'll be pinning it up in the
So
description as
probably
well. Yes.
I'll share about, since we have brought this, I'll share this. So what happens is, right, when anyone has an intimate feeling, right,
Mm, mm,
right.
mm.
So there is a signaling which has to go, which leads to vascularization, which activates your vasculature, your blood vessels, which ensures blood flow and tells your sexual organs to erect, right? It stimulates erection, right? So
Mm,
this
mm,
signaling is nothing but nitric oxide production. As I mentioned, nitric
mm.
oxide is a signaling. It is how cell communicates.
And this is also because the nitric oxide, it carries the blood flow. It is responsible for
Yeah,
the blood flow,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
when blood is flowing towards that particular organ, it becomes activated, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so if you have intimate feeling, right, there is
Mm-hmm.
a signaling which has to go to your sexual organs, stimulate the erection, right? If
Mm-hmm.
it and both in men and women, right? So it's not only about erectile dysfunction, it is also about the female sexual health also, right? So that
Yes.
signaling is nitric oxide. So if you don't have, you know, uh, nitric oxide, you have nitric oxide deficiency because you're taking a lot of statins, or there's a lot of inflammation, you're taking a lot of sugar, right? It disrupts your nitric oxide production, right? So again, you would have erectile dysfunction, right? So that is another. Again, people would say, okay, I have low testosterone, right? So probably people go for hormone therapy also, right? But thing is that, okay, testosterone stimulates nitric oxide production as well, right? But what happens is that for nitric oxide to be released, the endothelial cell, the ENOS, right, nitric oxide synthase, right, which is actually coupled with endothelial cells, has to be functional, right? So even if you do a replacement, a testosterone replacement therapy, or you stimulate testosterone, if your ENOS is not functional, it is uncoupled, right? Because of a lot of systemic inflammation, right? Or probably your oral microbiome is imbalanced, so it is not producing enough nitric oxide, which is again impacting the nitric oxide production, right? So, so essentially, even if you go for hormone therapy, it is not going to, uh, improve your sexual health, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Similarly for hormonal production also, right?
Mm.
So if you see in case of hormone endocrine glands, right? Nitric oxide is a part of endocrine gland. So when you are secreting hormones like thyroid hormones, right, or these glands like testes, ovary, and thyroid, right? So they release these hormones, right? For that, the secretion of this hormone needs signaling, and nitric oxide is that signaling, right? So even if your nitric oxide, if you have low nitric oxide production, probably it is going to impact your, production of a thyroid. You will have thyroid imbalances. You have low thyroid, or probably again sexual health is into it. So you know things such as statin would have downstream impact of various biological processes at the body, right? So you would take statin, probably you will say, okay, probably, I need to reduce my cholesterol, my LDL is small, so your doctor would recommend statin, but this is going to impact negatively. Second thing is pharmaceutical is PPIs or antacids or Nexiums, right? So people, I'm not sure, probably you know about this, that acid reflux, right? Is
Yes.
is is impact at least 25% in population at one point in their life,
Acid
right?
reflux is very prominent. I mean, you see every third person when I meet and we talk to a lot of people. So acid reflux is a very popular problem among them, and see, they really don't have any solution except for taking antacids, and
Yeah.
that is the problem because you have already mentioned that antacids already impacts our nitric oxide production,
Yeah, so then coming to
and
that only. So the problem is there is a wrong understanding. Doctors think that acid reflux is due to high stomach acid.
high acid
Okay,
content, yes.
right, but it is not due to height, it's because you have low stomach acid. So when you take antacids and PPIs, your stomach acid goes for a toss. You don't have right
Then
stomach
your
acid.
food motility, it also becomes pretty slow. It
Yeah,
takes time for the digestion, right? Because
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
have that stomach acid, so it will not break down all that food
So,
particles.
so initially, what happens? You don't get vitamin D, vitamin B12, right? You have foodborne allergies, you have autoimmune issues, you cannot metabolize amino acid in proteins, right? Plus, it overexpresses ADMA, asymmetric dimethylarginine, which inhibits nitric oxide production,
Okay.
right? So
Hmm.
again, this overactivation of ADMA inhibits NO production. Again, we have seen that people who take PPIs for more than 4 to 5 years have a 40% higher risk of cardiovascular disease and dementia and Alzheimer's, right?
That
So
that is
yeah.
that we have seen because some of our the people, the patients and their families, that they have experienced the similar problem. And
Mhm.
yes, after they dropped the antacids and they followed the proper nutrition, they did see that difference because earlier they used to, a lot of people, they're not able to sleep at night because this acid reflux, it makes them feel uncomfortable all the time. So this is a very major problem, acid reflux, and antacids is actually killing people. I have to say
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, so PPI, statins, seed oils, disrupts your production. It disrupts
Mhm.
your. It leads to impaired insulin signaling. Impacts. It causes type 2 diabetes. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke. It increases the risk of Alzheimer's. It causes erectile dysfunction. It causes hormonal imbalances. Right. So taking all these things at an early stage is going to impact. Yeah.
That's correct. So, also, Sushant, I have one curiosity that these things also cause antibiotic resistance to some extent because we have now seen that it is becoming more prominent. Drugs are not working on people; they are becoming more antibiotic resistant. So, is actually these things, nitric oxide production, is it one of the reasons, or there are other factors to it
There
supporting
are
this?
multiple factors. Nitric oxide is one of the key reasons for these. So these are certain biochemical processes, reactions which I have shared. So people, even we do not understand these things. For instance, uh, toothpaste, right? So I was discussing this thing yesterday with someone, right? So toothpaste again is something which we do not know. We brush twice a day, right? And we take all these toothpaste in supermarkets. All the toothpaste sign SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a detergent. There's a lot of saccharins as part of a lot of artificial sweeteners. There is fluoride, right? All these disrupts your oral microbiome, disrupts nitric oxide production, right? Fluoride is a neurotoxin. It impacts your neurological health. It can enter your pineal gland and disrupt your melatonin production, so it leads to your sleep issues, right? Mouthwashes wipes off your oral microbiomes. It hasn't found that people who take mouthwashes regularly have an, you know, uh, high blood pressure issues, high risk of cardiovascular diseases, right?
Yes.
So these are few things which we do not understand, we do not talk, right?
And
Uh,
something I would like to add about artificial sweeteners and sugar, that a lot of these products that you have mentioned, they do contain these artificial sweeteners, right? And even sugar, that I mean, we do know that sugar is bad for our health, specifically that white sugar which has sulfur,
hmm,
right? And then now after that they have substituted it with artificial sweeteners. A lot of companies are making it, in bulk, and it is being added to our food, the snacks and everything that we have previously
hmm,
discussed. So
hmm.
I mean, what to do? Because all foods
So
have sugar, all foods have artificial sweeteners. So what kind of snacks should they eat?
okay, so first thing is, first thing, let me tell you a brief about artificial sweeteners. People think it is good because it doesn't spike your insulin, it doesn't have glucose, so it's a good substitute for sugar. So let me give you a shocker here, right? I think I've shared this earlier, I don't know, but when you consume artificial sweeteners, right? The first interaction with the food we eat is your microbes in your mouth, right? So microbes in mouth actually metabolize these artificial sweeteners and send a biochemical signal to pancreas that I have encountered something sweet, please start making insulin, right? So pancreas is insulin, but there is no glucose to be metabolized, right? So
Yeah,
essentially,
because it's not there, they don't
yeah, it's
release.
not there, right?
Yeah.
Right. So again, when your insulin is in your bloodstream, it leads to your low sugar and it leads to food cravings, sugar cravings. You consume a lot of sugar, and again, it's a perfect business model for all these companies to put artificial sweeteners,
So
right?
you mean to say that artificial sweetener is actually increasing the food cravings? It is
Yeah. So
increasing
if
this.
you have insulin in your bloodstream, you need something for the insulin to work, right? So obviously you need sugar, and again, over a period of time, when you have high insulin, this leads to insulin, hyperinsulinemia, it leads to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, right? So again, artificial sweeteners are complete no. Coming onto your snacks, do not buy. So there's a difference between farm and factory, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
buy anything which is being produced in farms. Do not buy anything which is in packaged form. It has a lot of issues in terms of uh, added sugar, artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, right? Uh,
Yeah, to increase the shelf life, they will have to add those
yeah,
emulsifier,
yeah.
and that to reduce the acidification, they'll have to use the food processing agents, right?
And I'm
So
I'm
which is
I'm
again,
shocked. I'm shocked. People are talking about healthy foods. Why don't we eat green vegetables? Why don't we eat vegetables, fruits? Uh, why you too much bent on buying snacks which is packaged? These new startups coming with FMCG goods, calling them healthy for home. Me, my wife, my colleague, or my dog, right? We don't know for whom it is healthy. Yeah. So again, from a sugar perspective, also people know sugar is bad, right? I'll tell you two things which people may not know. When you consume too much sugar, again, your microbes in your mouth, right? Sugar is acidic; it reduces your oral pH level. It becomes a breeding ground for pathogens, right?
mm, mm,
So again, sugar very sticky. It sticks to your protein, it sticks to your enzymes, right? It leads to oxidative stress. When there's oxidative stress, metals on your enzymes get oxidized. So they become dysfunctional. Your cell, there's no nitric oxide production. Your cell become dysfunctional. You become sick,
yeah.
right? So that's how it actually works, right? So these are
But
the few of the
Sushant,
yeah.
you tell me one thing, that sugar we know is harmful, and artificial sweeteners are more harmful, because that insulin production, there is no glucose
Hmm,
signaling to it, right?
hmm, hmm.
So which is more worse? I mean, let's say you have two choices. Something is worse, something is worst, right?
See,
So,
all these things, sugar, artificial sweeteners, uh, seed oils,
hmm, hmm, hmm.
right? All are
Industrial, which
universally,
is these things are used for industrial manufacturing and production.
and
Yeah.
even the packaged foods,
Hmm,
which are
hmm,
calling themselves healthy, right,
hmm,
are
hmm,
universally unhealthy. So,
hmm,
I've seen a lot of people doing videos on this has sugar, that has sugar, tomato ketchup has sugar, and blah, 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 right? Anything, simple formula, anything which is made in factory should not be part of your pantry, right?
hmm.
Anything which is grown in farm, vegetables, fruits, right? Uh, you know, healthy
Grains,
fats, greens,
grains,
healthy fats you
herbs.
should take. Healthy fats you should take. You should take pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, omega
Yeah.
3 rich foods, avocados, right? Olive
Nuts.
oil, nuts, right? So all these should be part of that because I have explained because these yourself need fats to maintain their fluidity, right?
Hmm,
So
hmm.
ultimately, to make sure that your cells doesn't die and you don't become sick, so probably have good amount of fats in your diet, right?
Yeah.
Morning breakfast, you should have you know bit of protein and fats, right?
Hmm,
It should
hmm,
be
hmm.
part of this. Maybe fiber should be there, right? Which feeds your gut microbiome, right? So that these should be part of your diet. So essentially, this all having this packaged food and all these pharmaceutical approach is a complete disaster.
I agree. I totally agree. So over the counter things that we have, over the counter, I would say nuskhas in, Hindi that has been followed for some time, right?
Mm.
So I think that is something which should be avoided, right? So for
Mm.
young population, young people, you should not be looking for quick fixes. Look for a long-term solution for your health because otherwise it will end up ruining your life going ahead, right?
There are two things. There are two things here. First thing is when you are younger population eating a lot of these snacks and packaged foods and a lot of these
And
things,
then
right?
you go to the restaurants and then you're eating McDonald's and whatnot.
And
No.
again all those wrong fat, which is again impacting your cellular health, right?
Yes.
So that's why that is one of the reasons why people are early developing these diseases, right? Even
Yeah.
eating this, again, you cannot assume all vegetables are good or bad, right? So again, you need to understand your biology. So don't go for fat diets, don't go for any what nutritionist is telling, eat this, eat that, have protein. They don't go beyond protein, carbs, and fats, right? Uh,
Yes.
think,
Yes.
think, think food is a food ontology of 31 plus molecules, how each of these substrates interact with your microbiome, with your body, right, is really, really important with your cells, is really, really important.
Yeah.
So again, enzymatic activities is something that has to be decoded, understood, right? What enzymes are functional, what proteins are being released. Similarly, type 2 diabetes, we discussed this in the previous talk, that you may put any CGMs and any sort of these toys, right? But if your body is not releasing GLUT4, activating GLUT4, right? Again, you don't have nitric oxide production. So no matter how much of sugar level you track, it is not going to reverse diabetes, or you would have diabetes for sure,
I
right?
agree. I totally agree. So thank you, Sushant, for such a amazing discussion. And we have discussed a lot of tips and tricks for young people
Mm.
that they can
Mm.
actually incorporate in their lives. Right. So thank you, Sushant, for this talk. And we will be back with another episode. Thank you to all our listeners for listening to us time and again. And we are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And please avoid mouthwashes, change your toothpaste. Do not buy toothpaste available in supermarket. Check their labels. If it is as aspartame, saccharins, right? Fluoride, these are not should not be part of your nutrition, right?
Agree.
Avoid packaged foods, even if they are claiming it to be healthy, right? Do not take those packaged food. Consume a lot of these vegetables and fruits in your diet, right? Have a lot of antioxidants, a lot of nuts and seeds, and beneficial fats, right? Do not go for seed oils and vegetable oils, and restaurants are full of these, right? So even McDonald's, as you mentioned, right? They use hydrogenated oils, right? So avoid these things, right? And these are the baseline interventions you need. Again, depending upon what specific vegetables, foods, lentils, carbs, animal protein, fats you need. Again, you need to decode your biology, you need to understand the function of your gut and oral microbiome. That's what where we can help, right? So probably if anyone is interested in knowing, what is going on inside the body, what genes are being expressed, how your microbiomes are metabolized in various foods, right? What is your predictive glycemic response to various foods, right? Whether you're moving towards or away of a disease, we do measure molecular signals and tell you what is the current state of the biology right now. So please do reach out to us, right, in case you need any help in terms of understanding your biology. Thanks a lot.
Of
Thank you very
course.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Susha.